dude, but he's not a big guy. Like, he's 5'8", I'm 5'8".
Terence Crawford has now fired back at Canelo Alvarez for saying he was an effortless opponent. You know what? I mean, my arm is longer than his. You know, the new world champion didn't respect Alvarez's comments and claimed Alvarez isn't really as great as he thinks.
I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter.
Boxing's pound-for-pound king has fired shots back at Canelo Alvarez for underestimating his abilities in the ring and calling their highly anticipated fight an effortless one.
$100 million? I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
Canelo Alvarez, the Mexican superstar, has opened the door to a possible showdown. The opponent is none other than the newly victorious Terence Crawford. His statement has set the boxing world to buzz with excitement and speculation as he is ready to face Crawford, but there's a catch. The price has to be right.
But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money. So
the three-belt super middleweight champion didn't mince words about the possible matchup. He acknowledged Crawford's skill but expressed confidence in his own abilities. He stated that he would be open to fighting Crawford if the price intrigues him.
He's right. I'm in because, you know, I don't like to fight guys like that.
Why not? Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but for me in my weight class, it's an easy fight, easy money if the money is right. I'm in, said Alvarez via Sway Universe. This possible clash of titans comes on the heels of Crawford's recent victory.
I just be talking, man. Canelo a big dude, you know.
The American boxer barely defeated Israel Madif in a controversial decision last Saturday. Despite the win, Crawford's showing left some fans underwhelmed.
At the same time, I believe in my abilities.
And he finally fired back at Canelo Alvarez for saying a fight against him was an easy fight. While Crawford was lenient in his retort, he ran a quick review of Canelo Alvarez's ability and claimed Canelo isn't actually who he thinks he is.
He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like, he's 5'8", I'm 5'8".
He said, I've just been talking, man. Canelo is a violent dude. You know what I mean, but at the same time I believe in my skills. He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy like he's 58. I'm 5'8", my arms are longer than his. You know that fight won't be easy. It'll be good. You know, I mean, my arm is longer than his. You know, Canelo, whenever the businessman sees a chance in this matchup, he's open to the fight, but only if the financial terms meet his expectations. The Mexican champion's asking price is reported to be in the $150 million range. That's enough money to buy a small island.
That'll work. Yeah, you're in. So if
However, Crawford's team might have different ideas about the purse split. They argue that Crawford gets similar money to Canelo Alvarez. It's a bold claim given Crawford's limited experience in mega fights and a stunning development that set the boxing world abuzz. A dream matchup inches closer to reality. Turki Alalshikh, the mastermind behind Raid's season, has dropped a surprise about Canelo versus Crawford.
I give him the offer. If he's smart, he will accept it.
The chairman of the General Entertainment Authority revealed he's offered to fight Canelo Alvarez. This possible mega fight could hit two of boxing's brightest stars against each other. Turki Alalshikh didn't mince words when discussing the plan with Dozen. I gave Alvarez an offer. If he's smart, he'll accept it. If they accept, we want to see this fight, said Turki Alalshikh via Dazen.
do it.
Why not? Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong.
Both fighters are coming off recent wins. Canelo won over Hamanja, while Crawford edged out Israel Madrimov in a nail-biter. These wins have only heightened the anticipation for a possible clash. However, there's a catch, and it's a weighty one. Crawford's recent fight was at 154 pounds, while Canelo Alvarez operates at 168 pounds. But Crawford, ever the warrior, has hinted at his readiness to bulk up and want to get a fight with him. If the money is right, I mean, the possibility of a lucrative payday can be quite the motivation booster. Who wouldn't consider putting on a few pounds for a multi-million-dollar paycheck? However, Canelo Alvarez must first overcome the big test in front of him, which is his fight against Edgar Berlanga. Regarding the fight, Terence Crawford predicted,
It's hit the heels with this fight. I think Berlanga could be a great,
While Crawford was laser-focused on adding to his fighting legacy last weekend, that didn't stop Bud from giving his thoughts on Alvarez versus Berlanga. I think Alvarez stops Berlanga. Crawford offered during a recent interview with the Stomping Ground champion, someday I just think Berlanga is head over heels with this fight. He continued, I think Berlanga can be a great winner someday. I just think right now Canelo is just too much for him.
Right now, Canelo is just too much for him.
Very rarely do we see a man, I know this fight's at 150.
If Canelo gets past Berlanga just as Crawford has gotten past him a dream of, then at that point the pair will continue their charge toward making the super bout happen, going up from 154 pounds to 168 pounds to lock it in. But that fight with Canelo, if it happened, would be at 168, go up to divisions and win. Why is it different in Terence by C. Crawford's case? Because skills pay the bills, and if it does all line up, Crawford has the utmost trust in his authority over the sweet science skills pay the bills. Crawford said about his supposed edge over Alvarez, and I got the skills to pay them.
I can't go down anymore. But you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me.
Crawford surprised fans and experts when, after a statement, Errol Spence Jr. victory to become undisputed at 147, said he wants to move up 3 divisions to 168 to fight Canelo for world titles. The Mexican hasn't entertained the call out much, claiming he would get no credit for beating the smaller man and saying the fight wasn't in his immediate plans.
I don't need to take that fight because then everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he needs to enjoy his fight.
Still, he has been open that money is a driving factor in his decision-making and won't rule the Bud bout out totally with that in mind. He was asked by Fight Hype back in 2022 if it would be a tough fight to train for. I think Crawford would be tough to prepare for because he is southpaw and orthodox. I think he's a very tough fighter.
He deserves it. I like Spence, but you know, I like Spence and all the respect for him and everything, but I need...
Canelo then revealed the 2 keys to victory: calm and body shots. Just be patient, prepare myself like always and be patient. Work the body, but I think being patient is the key. Everybody looks for the head, and it's very tough to hit that kind of fighter in the head. People do I'm face fighting, so they make a big deal. Hey, listen, face of boxing missed a knockout king right here. However, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority revealed to ESPN that he is looking at having the super fight in either December or January over in the United States. Saudi Arabia has practically taken over the combat sports world, especially boxing, and the face of all of this is Turki Alalshikh. As you guys heard, Giovanni said I'm the face of boxing for making deals with the UFC and bringing high-profile guests to boxing events. He has done it all now. He is after another thing, getting Canelo Alvarez to agree to meet Terence or Crawford. I'm working to bring Canelo, but it will be a big fight for Crawford. Crawford is working with Turki Alalshikh for his upcoming clash against World Boxing Association super welterweight champion Israel Madrimov on August 3rd in Los Angeles. Wants David Benavidez to challenge Art Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol winner and would like to make Canelo versus Terence Crawford. Providing he wins that fight against Canelo should come next for Bud. You got 2 of the top fighters of this decade, not just in the past year or so, Crawford said of a possible showdown with Canelo. You got 2 fighters that have been at the top for 10 years. You got the no one pound for pound fighter in the world, and you got the no one money man. I never like to overlook anybody. I got a fight coming up on August 3rd, and that's where my main attention is.
What do you think about that fight in terms of you fighting Canelo? Did you see opportunities for yourself?
Most definitely.
Canelo showed he is still the best 168-pounder on the planet when he retained his undisputed super middleweight titles on Saturday night against Jamie Monja via unanimous decision. Crawford witnessed the fight and returned his verdict quickly.
What do you think about that fight in terms of you fighting Canelo? Did you see opportunities for yourself?
Most definitely.
What kind?
A lot.
I thought it was a great fight, he added. I thought Mongu fought hard. I just think his ignorance caught up to him and made him fall in and square up. Not moving in with his punches allowed Canelo to sit back, counter, and pick his shots. Canelo was a real patient. What you thought about that fight? It was a great fight. Mia showed his heart's drive. He just wasn't stepping in. Canelo kind of looked like he carried him. Turki Alalshikh is also planning to stage a UK's 5 vs 5 event for December in the same format as is the Queensberry Matchroom 5 vs 5 on June 1st, but with a team of British boxers competing against a team of Americans. This is all part of the Saudi boxing chief's plan to fix boxing. Boxing is broken, but I think we don't need to get everything back together, said Turki Alalshikh.
Number 5, of course, it is the heavyweight.
Oh no! Okay. Oh, you are in serious.
Oh no!
You are in serious.
Indeed, boxing sat at the top of the global sports landscape for much of the 20th century, but with the best matchups being relegated to pay-per-view, the sport's lack of a centralized governing body, and the minimization of pugilism at the Olympics, the sport has waned in popularity since we need to improve it with something else. We have a strategic vision where we have found untapped opportunities and are committed to market improvement. They know I love the way you can add any fighters you want. The fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will surely be one of the biggest boxing bouts ever. They're two boxing titans that hold all the gold in their various divisions, but a matchup between them has always looked impossible. However, if recent events are anything to go by, a mega fight between undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez and previous undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford might be moved from the fantasy fight area to reality. Canelo Alvarez boasts 61 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. while Terence Crawford is perfect with 41 wins in all 41 fights with 31 knockout victories. Both fighters had their last outings end with dominant wins. Canelo outpointed Haim Monga while Crawford itched his Real Madrid to become a 4-weight world champion.
Keep getting up. Like he like, man, I'm not giving up. I don't care what you do. I'm gonna keep getting up and I'm gonna keep fighting. So, you know, yeah, he did what he had to do to last the time.
As a result, both fighters are in high demand, with fans and media hyping up a possible showdown between them. The Saudi promoter, who now holds sway over major promotions and is surging as the fulcrum of boxing, stays committed to ensuring he has the biggest fight made. With his venture into American land with Israel Madrimov versus Crawford in Los Angeles on August 3rd as a Riyadh season event, the signs are clear. He wants to fix boxing, and one way to do it is to stage fights that fans want to see, like Alvarez versus Crawford. So the 42-year-old has stated his desire to pour his money in and make it happen. He told ESPN's Mike Coper, "I will give Canelo what I think is a good price. If he accepts it, he deals directly with me to finish the deal. I don't want anyone in the middle. I promise Crawford a big fight. I want Canelo for Crawford, and Crawford wants Canelo. But if Canelo is crazy with his financial demands, I will still promise Crawford any fight he wants." The GE linchpin has already taken the heavyweight division by its horns and helped stage Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury. He was looking to expand his impact on other weight categories. Too unquestionably, Alvarez versus Crawford is the perfect chance to do it. Will he be able to splash close to $150 million once asked by the Mexican champion for fighting David Novitz? The price tags don't discourage His Excellency Turki Alalshikh, but why is Crawford 36 hellbent on facing the super middleweight champion Crawford at 40? He has almost cemented his reputation with a win over Errol Spence Jr. becoming undisputed at 147. However, he wants to finish his career with a bang with the biggest fight of his career, and he sees Alvarez 34 as the perfect fit, but specified the same when he sat down with Ariel Helwani and announced, "Music Canelo is going to bring way more to my legacy, way more to my bank account. I want to have a memory. That's something that people talk about for or ages. I want to have a bank account that lasts as well." But while Usyk predicted the fight in favor of Terence Crawford, their star down makes things look like there's been some damage to his friendship with Terence Crawford. Recently, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn was asked about the Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight and if Canelo wants to fight once he's done with Edgar Bonga, as there have been talks of him not wanting to fight because he won't get the credit for defeating a smaller Crawford.
Be a little bit tongue-in-cheek, because I know Sale will fight anybody, but he also knows that that's a big fight, and it is a massive fight. It's one of the biggest in boxing.
Eddie Hearn replied, "I think Canelo will take any fight if the money is right. He has no fear. He definitely does not have a fear of Terence Crawford. I think he is more worried about the plots he will get for his victory if he wins that fight. It's like he beat a 154-pounder and a 147-pounder who just came up. If he loses that fight, it's like, oh, he got beat by a 154-pounder with Canelo. He chooses fighters in the styles that he likes. I truly think that's why he chose Edgar Berlanga and Haim Monga. He likes guys that come forward and fight him. I don't think he likes facing fighters who move."
If you pay Sale the right money, he will take the fight. Whether that's 150.
He then continued, "His body is probably not quite what it was when Yoel Charlo ran off the back foot. Canelo didn't like it or enjoy it. He wants someone that comes to fight. He'll fight anyone. He also in his head has a number that he thinks fights are worth. It's just whether that's realistic." Eddie Hearn was also asked about how he would describe his on-off-again friendship with Canelo Alvarez, who will next fight Matchroom's Berlanga on a PBC Les Show Benz. Benz moved to 1745 for something not my business as to why that didn't happen, but other than that, fire tell me who else Canelo should have fought in September. He's got the mandatories. William Skull. Eddie Hearn answered, "My relationship with Canelo is really honest. I consider him a friend. He's one of the greatest fighters of our time. He's pound for pound great. He's a legend. I really understand him in terms of when we do business together, we get along well. That's why we can always work together and shake hands, because we do good business together. I don't get offended when another better chance comes along for him." He says, Eddie, "I'm sorry I have to take this all things equal. I think he would always choose us, but when there is a better chance, he won't hesitate to choose that one. It's not a loyalty thing either. It's an honest thing, and I'm going to do the right thing for me when we sign Ned Berlanga. I promised him we would get him the Canelo fight. Who do respect Ned Berlanga, you know, a young big punching Puerto Rican and defeated, and he will come and give us a great fight, but I presume that would be us promoting Canelo and picking Berlanga. We did it the hard way and went and got a deal with PBC for the fight. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. I will be rooting for Edgar Berlanga come September 14th, while being respectful to the true legend Canelo Alvarez. Also, Hearn was asked why he thought the Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez fight would not be happening. Hearn said, "I think that sometimes in boxing, not pride but like things will be said between teams and people will feel disrespected. When you feel disrespected, sometimes you don't want to give them the chance or you want to make sure you get paid for that opportunity. I think Canelo sees the possible financial opportunities around that fight, and he probably wants to build them and say, I'll take that fight, but pay for it."
So, I believe he's earned the right for this fight, commercially. I told him I'd deliver him the fight. We've got it. We've got the lottery ticket. It's time to make it count.
It's a dangerous fight, but Benavidez is now competing at 175 pounds. He's a huge guy, and in the ring without a recovery clause, he is going to be the bigger guy. I think Canelo knows that's a tough fight, whether or not it's real that he wants $150 million or he put that out there to get close to $100 million. He wouldn't hesitate to fight and knows he'd win. He knows that rivalry means big money. Benavidez is now officially competing at $175 billion, and he's lined up for the winner of Arura Arterbieter Dimitri Bivol as the WBC mandatory.
Just keep going. I mean, keep obviously working on these Riyadh season events, and keep developing our stars in America. Diego Pacheco's coming up August 31st. I think he's a guy that could fight Canelo Alvarez in the next 12 or 18 months.
We saw Khalil Cohen from Jersey.
Great fighter. Ray Ford's coming back.
Eddie Hearn was then asked how sure he was about delivering the Bivol Benavidez fight if the matchbook promoted Bivol wins against BB. He replied, "I know that His Excellency Turki Alalshikh wants the winner of the Bivol BBV fight to take on Jay Opera at cruiserweight as well. His Excellency has all kinds of different ideas. I'm sure His Excellency likes Benavidez as well. He's a fun fighter, but I don't think Benavidez beats Dimitri Bivol, to be honest, but he's a good fighter. Let's see if our man can do his job first against Spear BV on October 12th. There are big fights out there, and that's all for now. For the very best updates on news moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay linked with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.